Hello everyone. I guess you saw my videos. I had posted a video of taking the engine to Binnie's house from that 66 Corsa and investigating and finding all the shrapnel. So that engine is not good, and I don't think it's going to get used. I think we're going to go with an alternate, but I'm not really sure on that just yet. But what I did do when I was at Dave's is we took a walk around and looked at his cars. And Dave has owned over 100 Corvairs since 1976 when he first got into it. He became famous for body and paint, then he sort of became famous for turbo work and blow-through turbos, and now he's into really building high-quality precision engines. So he did a blow-through turbo. He's done a bunch of different variations of it. This is maybe the third one I've seen of his since I've known him. This one is a blow-through 140 horsepower, so it's blowing through all four carburetors. And he has meth water injection and boost controllers and all kinds of different things. So he did a little walk around there when we were there, and he showed me his car and his 65 Corsa, and he showed me his 66 Monza Coupe, also a built car. Very nice car. I hope you enjoy, and please like, share, subscribe, and hello to all my friends from Corsa, Ontario. So tell me about this thing.
Tell you about this thing. This car?
Anything. Tell me anything.
Anything. Oh, it's got an engine. It's got 4 carburetors. Oh, look, it's also got a turbocharger. Oh my goodness, it blows through those carburetors. Off valve. Very cool looking pulley. Not that that matters. What could that line be for?
I don't know.
Bartlett, what do you think that's for?
I don't know. It looks like a fucking science fair project to me.
Yeah, I just put that there for the science freaks.
I like this. Is that a magnet?
It's a magnet with a ring on it.
I dig that. That's pretty cool.
You know what? I did not want to drill a hole in my shroud, so I was at Princess Auto one day, and I thought, what could this possibly be good for? Yeah. And that's what it turned out to be, because this would wind up in here.
Yeah,
of course,
bad news.
if I didn't do that.
Bad news story.
Absolutely. So we also have methanol water injection. We have it squirting into the carburetors to prevent detonation. There's a controller in behind this panel here, which is remotely controlled under the dashboard to turn the boost up or down. It is a Grand National blower configuration in place of the stock Corvair turbocharger, which is a TO4 plated turbocharger, so it'll bolt in the same position. My friend Kim Stankiewicz made this amazing stainless steel line. Of course, the car has stainless steel brake lines all the way around it. And it's had the best of everything. It's got Coney shocks, it's got my Repro coil springs in it, and it has a new interior. These were Recaro seats that were in a friend of mine's car, and he just wanted the headrest, so I thought I'll take the seats and have coverings made. And I did not want them to look like they don't belong in the car, so I had them patterned after the styling features of the 65 Corvair. And a few people so far have looked and thought that they were more or less original.
There's your gauge and your controller.
Yep, that's right. That's what controls the methanol water injection. Factory AM/FM radio.
Is that a boost gauge, or?
It also acts as a boost gauge. It has a digital boost gauge as part of the deal. Yeah. However, the dashboard also reads. I don't tend to read it. I tend to read that gauge because when you're driving this car fast and furious and pushing it pretty hard, it's pretty hard to keep your eyes on that one gauge because the car whistles up pretty quick. So it's kind of hard to notice those things.
I like the seats.
It had, a two-bar standard wood wheel in it. I'm not a big fan of those, so I put the three-spoke wheel that the Corvettes and the 67 and 9 Corvair wood wheel option cars had, which I tend to like.
The coveted one-piece floor mat?
One-piece floor mat.
Yeah.
That came from a Canadian parts car that I had. As you can imagine how rare those are.
I know. I have a side hobby of collecting them.
My big bugaboo about these cars is when the carpets are laid, they're never laid correctly. They are always bunched up in corners, wrinkled, very poorly installed. The relationship between the gas pedal and the the high beam indicator is never right. There's always a wrinkle there. So fortunately, I had a parts car that still had its original carpets in it, and I've saved it as a guide, and it makes it really, really easy to install new carpets. Because new carpets are still made by ACC, and they're molded, but you still have to set those positions and when you're doing the install. So
it's a 65.
It's a 65
with the wrong taillights.
With the wrong taillights. Now that could change. Hello, girls.
Hi.
Hello.
You know,
in the wrong air grill.
I am scolded by some that don't like the fact that...
Like me?
Yeah, well, you know, I've had thoughts about leaving the 66 taillights in place.
At least...
and putting a 65 rear air grill with the 2 independent outlets as the Corsa came with. Yeah. I might do that. I might try that.
What about if you stuck with the 66 taillights but went to the wedding bands? You don't like the wedding bands? The wedding bands? The thinner ones?
Trouble is finding them. Do you know how hard those are to find?
In good shape.
No one's ever repopped them. Yeah, and these are all brand new. I don't tend to like using corroded stuff on a fresh paint car, so... One thing I may go back to 65 style wheel well trim as well. I've come into a pretty good supply of NOS stuff. However, some of it's trapped on the other side of the border right now. I can't get to it, but...
And what are the wheels?
Those are American Racing Equipment M 17x7s with a 0 offset and 205 50 16s, 17s.
All the way around?
All the way around, yeah. Yeah, they fit really well. The car handles really nicely on them. I had to replace all of the studs because the studs are a little on the short side on an original Corvair, and of course you never know what somebody's done, how many times someone's used a power gun on them, so... All of those have been upgraded. Plus, it's got disc brake kit in the front and stainless brake lines all the way around.
What kind of disc brake kit?
That's what I got from Dave Clemens.
Okay.
Sorry, Michael Levesque. From Michael Levesque. Yeah, it's the standard S10 sort of stuff. So it's 4-wheel drive caliper and 2-wheel drive rotor mixture. And with brackets that those guys make. It's quite easy. And the keys for the under the hood to show you. So it has a Nova that would have discs on the front and drums on the rear.
I think you could buff it a little more. There's not enough reflection.
Yeah, I'm a little bit, embarrassed by how dirty this car is.
It is dirty.
Yeah, it's dirty, but yeah, the shine isn't just there.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Sorry about no headlight bezels either. I rebuilt all.
I thought it looked a little dark.
Well, I rebuilt all the buckets over the winter and put all new adjusters in it. But I have to get my headlight lamp aimer. If you've ever used one, you have to set the car and all that. So my plan was to do that and then it'll adjust the headlights.
I like the correct 65 grill bar.
Yeah, it's an NOS part, and that's one of the parts that is sitting at CBI on the other side of the border is another NOS 65 grill bar that I managed to get one night off of Facebook. Marketplace.
Good
So
score.
that's the story on this car. This car is cool, man. This is just, a run-of-the-mill 66 Monza coupe that survived the onslaught. Well, I don't know about Ontario winters. I don't know. It's probably seen a winter or two, but it's remarkably solid for an Ontario car.
It's an Oshawa built car.
Oshawa built car. Here's my new engine build under the hood.
It's a 110?
Well, it's a mixture actually. This car had a 110 when I got it.
Yeah.
But I do tend to like 95s, but I like to blend them. So this has a 95 brand new NOS 889 cam in it, but it's using 110 heads. It's kind of like an 84 horse 62 to 63 power glide engine. So you have the higher compression, but you have the shorter ramp cam and smooth idle and mileage. And great bottom end. And it'd be very hard to press to tell it from a 110, actually. It performs really nicely.
Oh yeah, the correct coil.
I'll show that to Stan, he'd be very happy. The stick still has the red dash paint on it, designated for the 110 engine. But remarkably solid in all the areas where they're normally rotted a bit.
Yeah.
The body itself is very, very good. Interior's original.
Do you think the engine bay paint is original? Like I know their body
here's
color does Oshawa, but
Here's the thing: when I got this car had a lot of monkey shines going. I call it monkey shines. Somebody really goofed around with this car. They messed a lot of things up, and the shroud work had been all painted with Canadian Tire spray bombs, things like that. And so I had scrapped a 21,000 mile car about 4 or 5 years ago, and I saved all of the metal. I sold the engine to a fella, but he didn't need the metal because he had an early car. So I saved all of the sheet metal, and that's all the sheet metal that came from it. So my idea was to keep this looking like a completely untouched 30-odd thousand mile car, and that's the way it looks. The only one thing I can't get the Canadian sticker that used to be on the air cleaner. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's as original. I've got an oil adapter on it, so I can run pH 8 or 2870 filters on it.
Yeah,
so when you change it, when you build a Corvair engine, be prepared to change your oil every 100 miles for 2 or 3 changes to make sure you get all that metal out of there. Every time I change the oil, it looks like silver paint practically. Yeah.
And you got the Silver Cove, which is not stock.
Not stock, no, but I like it, and I think it looks good.
Yeah, oh, it makes a Corvair.
These are 15-inch ARE wheels that I picked up from a fella.
Yeah.
Some new Michelin
195, 65.
Defenders, yeah, they're wonderful. So Kim Stankovic did the alignment for me. I rebuilt the entire suspension in this car, bushings, everything. There's nothing old about this car.
There's that 2-bar wheel you're talking about.
Yep. Absolutely everything was done underneath this car. Absolutely everything. Wheel cylinders, brake shoes, bushings, Coney shocks all the way around.
The interior's actually really good.
Has a rear bar on it.
Oh, rear sway bar?
Has a rear sway bar on it, yeah. And I put an AM/FM in it. It only had an AM in it. But somebody decided, I guess this car probably didn't have a radio from the very beginning. And someone decided it was a good idea to drill a hole on this side and put an antenna, which was almost obscuring the driver's view. So, as you can see, I patched it. One of these days I'll blow it in.
Maybe for a tech session, maybe not, depending on the current situation.
Current situation. Don't say that word. Don't want to hear it.
Nope.
I put an amplified antenna over here, which I'm famous for. I don't like to drill holes in my car.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, and it works great. Yeah, the radio works as it should. I replaced all the rubbers around the door.
The 66 grill bar and the 66 emblem on the front, not on the hood.
Yep.
Does your black car have it on the hood?
Yes, that's 65. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if you deleted that or not.
No, I always leave my car stock, other than things like wheels and maybe seats, as long as the seats match the motif of the interior. But I'm quite pleased with this car. Driving this car is like driving a brand new Corvair. It's tight as an absolute rock. It dials down the road beautifully. Kim did a wonderful job on aligning it.
What's Kim's shop called?
Pardon me?
What's Kim's shop called?
Well, his business is called Performance Initiatives. But the other stuff, I guess it's a sort of a sideline that he does.
And he's in Kitchener, Ontario.
Yes.
Just outside of Kitchener, Ontario.
Actually, he's in Shakespeare, is where his Corvair environment is. But he does a wonderful alignment job. He's one of those really fastidious guys. I mean, he's overly the top fussy. I get along with him because he's that way. He's sometimes a tad critical.
I get along with him because he picks on your cars.
I have no problem with it, because if we can make it better, I'm happy.
Well, if
criticize my stuff, I'm fine with that.
If a guy like him is picking on your cars, you can appreciate it.
That's right. I have no problem with him picking on my stuff, and not one bit.
Yeah.
And nobody is perfect.
I like this car.
Not even me. Yeah, this is a great little car. I love this car. Our dear friend Christian, of course, he's bugging me to sell him this car, and I finally had to tell him, it wouldn't be worth it to sell you this car. And number one, I don't want to sell it, but two, it would never be worth it because I put so much into it.
Well, and you
more
can't,
than it could ever be worth.
And you can't sell it when I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, there's the other answer.
We have bought and sold some cars before.
Stock exhaust, it hangs correctly, of course, not dangling underneath the car and all that kind of stuff.
I like the Corsa air grill treatment too.
It does look good, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's just right.
I think every late Corvair should have a silver cove and the air grill treatment.
Unless the car is 100% original paint and completely untouched, like that 61 over there, you don't change anything.
Yeah.
But when you get a car that's been painted and messed around,
it's a driver,
and do whatever. Yeah, it's your car. Do whatever you like with it. But an original Survivor, that's a different matter entirely. I think it should be left alone. Well, this is pretty much what you would have gotten in 1966, and it drives like it. It's got a monster heater in it.
Is it it's a late 66?
Yeah, it is.
So, I wonder how late, because obviously they stopped production in
John Gray's better at numbers
Oshawa.
than I am.
Yeah, I have trouble with the
I
numbers
can't
myself.
remember the numbers. 30? No, it's not that late. I think you got a couple thousand past that to be the last. John Gray will look at this and he'll immediately tell you.
It's neat how the paint's real close to the like the paint on the outside, whatever refinish they did.
Yeah,
it's real close to the original.
I know. You don't diddle with this.
Yeah.
You don't try and refinish it. It'll take away from the car. Unfortunately, somebody scraped this stuff away, and I would never do that. It may be loose and pointless, but it just...
And what are you running on this for shocks? Conies?
The Conies all the way around. Set on 3/4. And my lowering springs.